Hey guys, what's happening? Today is Thursday, June 5th, 2025. Today, we got another hot one. We got some corn to plant. My pap's gonna take care of that. And I got some ground to work down. But first, I wanna finish up this chisel plow. Last night I started, it's actually in the last video, I got the back 5 chisels changed out. I gotta go through and torch a couple of those nuts off there. And I can get those 4 put on, get this thing parked. And then it'll be ready for when we need it. But we're not gonna need it today. We're gonna be doing some disking. I can finish that up here a little bit. I can get the big tractor fueling up. We're gonna put this in here on the disc. We always do. We bail with this tractor too, which is kind of a pain switching them out all the time. Still no 2290. What we normally do when we have a 2290, we put the 2290 on the baler and bale with it. It's actually a pretty nice tractor for baling. And then we leave this one here on the disc or chisel plow, whatever, doing tillage. But we only got this tractor right now, so we use it for everything, pretty much. Everything the 125 and the 870 can't do. Cases like this would be where a nice 2390 would come in the clutch, let it hooked up to the disc all the time. Chisel just filled up on Tuesday afternoon, so it was able to dry out pretty good. It was definitely wet when he tore it up. It looks pretty clumpy, but all this hot weather now that's tore up and the sun can get to it, it looks like it's really dried out. Got the dust rolling behind me. I mean, it's bringing some wet stuff up, but nothing crazy. Actually might be able to plant this yet today. We'll see here. Now later on this afternoon. I finished that field I was working on this morning. My pap started planting that this afternoon. I would think he's probably done by now. After I got done up there, I brought the tractor and disc up to the heifer farm. We have 2 fields up here that we always plant corn in. And this upper field here, I got it worked down once. This lower field, I didn't get to touch it yet. This field up here is terrible wet. We've had so much rain this spring that everything's, well, not necessarily this spring, just this past May, that everything is just so saturated, it's having trouble drying out. And it doesn't help that all the smoke from the Canadian wildfires are down here, and it's kind of covering over the atmosphere, keeping the sun from shining down and helping dry things out. But we got the heat today, that's for sure. It's 100 degrees out. And that's not no real feel either, that's the actual temperature. not very fun. I'll tell you what, the old air conditioning in this tractor feels good today. But I got the disc unhooked. Tractor needs fuel. Hoping we're gonna need the tractor to haul manure to put on the pump. Hoping they can come get the pit emptied out here soon. As soon as this afternoon. Not sure yet. But I'm gonna take the tractor down, let the disc up here, because I'll have to get that bottom fill done. And then we'll go over this top piece again once it dries out. But right now I just wanted to get it tore up so it could dry out. Both of these fields were chisel plowed, but the weeds grew back in them, and the weeds are holding the moisture there and keeping it from getting dried out, so I wanted to get it tore up. That top field there was terrible wet. Now I would imagine the field behind the barn's wet too. It always lays wet in a couple places, and you can find every single spring that's up there in that top piece. It's after milking here. Got a little bit of a project going on. So our feed bucket that we use up at the heifer farm on this skid loader, it was a bucket that we put together. The neighbor had pieces of a bucket, and we put it together and we use it as a feed bucket. It's pretty nice. It's an 84-inch high back bucket. Works nice for feeding, but the problem is it's not made out of very heavy material. So what had happened was, where the skid loader attaches on here at the bottom, it's got things pushed up in from just the weight of stuff in the bucket. It's got all the metal broke out around the attachment plate there. So I gotta get creative and figure out how I'm gonna get that back in place. Probably a big sledgehammer, and come up with some sort of brace, put inside the bucket and on the back of the bucket, beef it up so it doesn't happen again. But the only problem is I want to make something that's not going to keep feed in there so it don't rust out. If it's going to hold feed in there, it just defeats the purpose, because it's not going to clean out and it'll eventually build up and rust in there. I had the forks on the skid loader. I had the bucket sitting on some cement blocks here on the ends. And I tried putting pressure down on where it's broke out, thinking it would push back in place. Did not. So hopefully the sledgehammer is gonna work, and we can come up with some sort of way to beef it up. Hey guys, how's it going? It's the next day here. Custom manure haulers are here, and they're spreading down here along the river. I just come down from 125 in the chisel plow. We're gonna do our own type of manure injection. You see a lot of these spreaders, they have injectors on now. We never tried it. It takes a lot of time, and when you're paying somebody to do it, you know, it's a lot of money. But we don't think it's really worth it, so we get them to come in here and spread like they normally do, regular spreader, and then we come through and work it in before we plant it. We always have nice corn most of the time, so we don't really see anything wrong with it. We're gonna be chiseling it up anyhow, even if they would come in and inject it. So it kind of, you know, we're killing two birds with one stone, if you want to think of it that way. I think better off doing it the way we've been doing it. I don't know. It would be kind of interesting to just compare it, see what injecting manure would be like, but I don't really know that if it pays that well to do it that way, especially if you don't have your own tractor spreader. I just put new chisels on this chisel plow, so it's really digging in deep. It's making the old 125 work a little bit. It's not kicked into eco mode yet, so it's not working it that bad. But you can really definitely feel it pulling more than the 2294. Having the new chisels on it like that, that really makes a difference. The old ones were wore out, pretty rounded off. The old 125 just hit 5,000 hours. Put about 800 hours on this tractor. This will be the second summer having this one. We got it back in June of 23. I think it was like June, the end of June when we finally got it. Still chiseling away here. Had the drone up for a little bit. And if you're wondering why I didn't chisel out that end, it's because it's stony. I can only go out there so far and then it gets stony on me and I just pick it up and come back. There's no use of busting equipment up, and there's no use bringing the rocks up to the surface any more than there already is. So we just work down the ground that's fit to work down, but we usually try to plant all of it. There's usually a little section out there that's so stony we don't like to drag the planter across, but other than that we try to plant everything, but we don't tear it up because you bring the rocks up. Try to avoid that if we can. I got some of the wettest parts of the field done. Pretty much from here down it was pretty wet. It still is coming up wet. I mean, they just hauled a look of manure on here, so that adds moisture to it. Makes it a little more difficult to get traction, but we're still getting through. And it's tearing up a lot better where they spread manure. That moisture helps. It softens the corn stalks and helps things break down a little bit better. And it's not as weedy up here. Either the manure kind of settled the weeds. What was here, it wasn't as weedy up here as it was down there where it was wet. You could tell where it was wet because all the weeds were growing down there. But yeah, one more round we gotta make here, and then it's supposed to start raining, so we're gonna hook the chisel plow, and that'll be probably all we'll get done today. I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but the rain's coming right up here at the tip of my finger, coming down the mountain. You can see it. It's already smoky and hazy, which really made for poor drone quality. I'll tell you that. You could really tell a difference. Just the smoke in the air made everything just so crappy looking. But nothing we can do about that. Got about a third of the field done. There's still a good bit of field here left. Once we get up so far, we can run clear to the end of the field. It makes for some pretty long passes. Here comes the rain. guys can watch me get soaked unhooking this thing. She's unhooked. Since fill work's a no-go anymore, try to get this bucket fixed up here. I gave up on it last night and couldn't really get it back in place. I don't know how. Gotta be able to. I thought that would just tap back down in there, but can't really seem to get that to work. I'll figure something out. Sun's actually shining now, but everything's so wet. We got a good bit of rain there, so no fill work. Got this bucket back in place. My dad helped me. We got the skid loader and I heated that up down there and we pushed it back with the skid loader. I tried beating it with the hammer, that didn't work too well. It's not perfect, but it's back in place where I'm happy with where it's lined up to weld some gussets. I gotta cut some gussets out. They're gonna go inside here. Gotta put at least 2 on each side, maybe even 3, as big as a span that is there where it broke out. 3 would definitely hold, but I'm using pretty thick stuff, so I might just use 2. Now I want to put a strap on the back here, running from that attachment plate up to the top there to help sturdy it up a little bit, beef it up. Hopefully it don't break out again. Had it out here at the table where I was gonna cut. There's some yellow jackets in under that piece of metal there. Has a nest there, and I was out there grinding and then one flew out. How I didn't get stung, I have no clue. I'm allergic to bees and I break out of hives. I do not want to do that. Went through that last summer and that was not fun. So my welding teacher from this year told us that brake clean will kill bees right on the spot. Sure enough, it did. I got a can of it, brought it out here, stood back, shot her up in there. That bee dropped. So I hope that's the only bee there is. And if you ain't got any bee problems, bee spray will not work unless it's a really good kind. We've gotten bee spray and sprayed them and it just makes them mad. But brake clean, that stuff's pretty potent. It's the next day here, still working on this bucket, getting some gussets cut out here at the torch. I wouldn't say I'm the best around the torch, but that's not my first day either. It's all about speed. You gotta have the right speed with the right thickness of metal. Now this metal here is not crazy thick, so you gotta keep your speed up because your cuts will be straighter. If you slow down, then it'll weld itself back together if you're not keeping the metal blowed away with the oxygen. But if you get too fast, then you lose your cut, and then it's a pain to start back over again. But it's one of the things takes a little bit, but eventually you get the hang of it. But I definitely prefer a torch over a plasma cutter. I know that's crazy to say, but I'm not very good with a plasma cutter. I'd rather pick up a torch and use a torch any day over a plasma. Got my metal here. I'll put 2 on each side where the skid loader attaches, where most of the stress will be. See, the attachment plate on the skid loader is not as far as this crack. It's not as wide as that crack, but I'm just gonna put them where most of the stress would be. I think 3 would be overkill, but 2, as thick as these plates are, I think we can get away with that. And I'm gonna put straps on the back side too to help strengthen things up a little bit. Had to hit these with the grinder a little bit. If you're good at torching, you don't need a grinder. I was always taught that you should be good enough at running a torch that you should never have to touch a grinder. So basically, the better you are at running the torch, the less work you make for yourself. So you kind of strive to be better at running a torch there. Makes less work for you in the end. Got my gussets welded on the inside, flipped the bucket over, and took some 6011 rods at low amperage and filled these holes in here in the back. Now it does not look pretty, but the holes are filled in. There's no holes there anymore. So now what I'm gonna do is, we got a bunch of this here flat sticks of flat metal left over from doing the stalls. I have some pieces marked up. I'm gonna take the chop saw and cut some pieces and put a piece here and a piece here to help strengthen that up even more. Those gussets should really help, but we're just gonna go overkill on it because we use this bucket to dig into the silage trench. So just the constant digging into the silage with the hydraulic pressure from the skid loader eventually broke through. Thinking that's what did it to that bucket, that's why it broke through, just from digging into the trench all the time. Got this bucket finished up here. I went through and put straps on the bottom side of the bucket too to help support it, so it should really strengthen it up now. Just going through with the wire wheel and cleaning my welds up a little bit and put some paint on them then. That's gonna conclude this project. Gonna conclude this video. Appreciate you guys watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.